We each have a love tank that needs to be filled. Functioning on an empty love tank is similar to driving a car that's empty on oil. It damages the car just as it damages the relationship. We have a lot of people walking around with empty love tanks and wondering why they cannot enjoy the love relationship. It's important to realize that the way my love tank needs to be filled is not necessarily the same way that my husband's love tank needs to be filled. Do you know how your love tank needs to be filled? Is it currently on empty, full, or somewhere in between? I'm Moagi, and thank you so much for continuing the love challenge with me. If you missed the first 3 videos, go ahead and catch up. Be sure to subscribe so you are always up to date. For you and I to fill our loved one's love tank, it's very important to understand their unique love language. Have you ever tried to communicate with someone who speaks a completely different language to yours? Do you remember the frustration that comes from that? Did you at any point feel like, let me just give up because we're not getting each other? The same applies to love. Each of us has a unique love language. And if we do not understand our partner's love language, we'll get frustrated trying to communicate with them. And if we don't take the time to understand their love language, we might be tempted to give up on our love relationship. And because I don't want any of us giving up on our love relationships with our partners, I am going to explain the 5 love languages. The first one is words of affirmation. So there are people amongst us who feel loved when you just speak nice, loving words to them. These are people that want you to give them words of encouragement, words of compliments, and when you don't do that, they just don't feel loved. You can buy them gifts, you can do a number of things for them, but if you do not give them words of affirmation, they just do not feel loved. I know that some people do not come from backgrounds where positive words were being showered and spoken. You might be coming from a background of negative words. But for the sake of your relationship, if you know that your loved one's love language is words of affirmation, I suggest that you become intentional about daily using loving, encouraging, and positive words. The second love language is quality time. Some people feel loved when they spend quality time with their loved one. These are the people that want your full and undivided attention during that 20 minutes of dinner. For these people, love is when you maintain eye contact and listen attentively and sympathize without feeling the need to give your advice. They feel loved when they are engaging in an activity that you or them or both of you enjoy without other people disturbing or other things like phones or TVs. There should just not be any distraction. It's you and them having quality time. The third love language is receiving gifts. Some people feel loved when they just receive gifts. And no, it's not about how much the gift costs. It doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, the more sentimental the gift is, the better. If you do, for example, have something sentimental that is costly and you can afford it, then by all means. But the cost is not the point. The point is something that will mean something great to that person. So it's not just about giving them things, even giving them your presence, giving them a gift of yourself can be a gift to these people. The fourth love language is acts of service. Some people feel loved when you just show them acts of service. It can be something like washing the dishes, washing the car, feeding the pets, changing the baby's diaper, even doing errands, running errands that your loved one doesn't particularly fancy. For these people, when you see them do things and you don't help them, it might make them feel like you see me being overwhelmed and you just don't care. You don't love me enough to care to help me with doing my whatever it is. They need you. For them to feel loved, they need to see you showing them acts of service, helping here, doing this and doing that. My advice to people that have this as a love language: don't demand things to be done, rather request, and don't criticize your partner when they don't know what it is that you want done. Rather communicate properly. The other challenge in loving people whose love language is acts of service is stereotypes. A lot of us have stereotypes about what marriage should look like, what gender roles in marriage should look like. And these stereotypes are one of the things that make it difficult for us to love partners whose love language is acts of service. But my advice is stereotypes don't give you many rewards, if any at all, actually. What does give you a reward is loving your partner in the way that their love language demands. The fifth love language is physical touch. Some people feel loved when they are touched physically, whether holding hands, hugging, kissing, or even intercourse. The important thing to notice is that the touch that brings pleasure to you may not necessarily translate into the touch that gives pleasure to your partner, even if their love language is touch or physical touch. It's important to know what type of physical touch they like and prefer and best aligns to their love language. For example, your partner's love language may require you to touch in a way that is as explicit as a massage or foreplay, or something as implicit as just a hug on your way out to work or a touch on their back when they're cooking. So just know that you need to also understand over and above knowing that their love language is physical touch, you need to understand what type of physical touch brings them to a place of feeling loved. Have you identified your partner's love language? Have you identified your own love language? Please share in the comments section below. To summarize, let's look at an example. So let's say you're coming back from a trip, I don't know, a 2-day, 2-week, 2-month, or even 2-year trip, however long the trip might be. A person whose love language is words of affirmation will be satisfied with you saying, I love you, I missed you, you look more attractive now than when I left you. They'd appreciate words of affirmation to remind them how much you love them. A person whose love language is quality time will want to spend all the time with you, talk to you about what you were going through, everything that happened when the two of you were apart, and they want this done without any distraction of other people, phones, work, or anything like that. A person whose love language is receiving gifts will, of course, want you to give them a gift from wherever it is you're coming from. Come back with a gift, not just of yourself, but of something else as well. While a person whose love language is acts of service will really appreciate it if you will help them, if you would give them a break from whatever it is that they were busy with. Maybe when you were away, they were tending to the kids or to the pets or whatever it is. They will appreciate it if you give them a break from that and you take over and lend a helping hand. A person whose love language is physical touch will appreciate a nice warm hug, a touch, a kiss, something physical that makes them feel loved. I hope that example makes it clearer as to what different people we have and how the different love languages can be identified and expressed. In conclusion, let's answer the following questions so that we make sure that we leave here understanding our own love languages as well as those of our partners so that we can love better. So let's answer the following questions. What do you or your partner do or fail to do for each other which hurts you deeply? What does your partner request most from you, and what do you request most from them? In what way does your partner regularly express love to you, and in what way do you regularly express love to them? Those are the three questions you and your partner can ask each other so that you identify one another's love languages. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this informative content, be sure to subscribe, share with others so that we all are in a better position to love better and to fill each other's love tanks on a daily basis. Thank you so much for watching. Until next week, Monday, when we'll be having our last 2021 Love Challenge episode. Happy loving and bye for now.